Hi, BrenTech here, where tech is made simple. So yesterday, on the 24th of August, believe it or not, was 28 years ago since Microsoft rolled out and released Windows 95 to the general public, which back then rolled out on the 24th of August 1995. And I cannot believe how fast time has actually gone. Now, Windows 95 was the successor to Windows 3.1. And compared to Windows 3.1, included quite a number of important new features and improvements which rolled out, which obviously put Windows 95 and Microsoft on the map, so to speak, back in the day in 1995. Now, if we just head over to an online emulator, just to give us an idea, especially for our younger viewers who weren't around back in 1995 when Microsoft did roll out Windows 95. This will just give us a basic idea of the first retail release of Windows 95. Now, a bit of information that basically differentiated Windows 95 from Windows 3.1 is, first of all, it included support for 32-bit Windows applications, which was not the case for Windows 3.1. And as you can see, Notepad looking pretty legacy back in 1995. But believe it or not, when it comes to actual functionality of Notepad, not too much has actually changed over the last 28 years, as an example. And then something else that Windows 95 included was long mixed case file names, where you could have up to 255 characters, where previously that was not the case. And then it included a lot of GUI, user interface improvements. So as an example, if we just head over to the Legacy File Explorer. It included a File Explorer. The big one with Windows 95 was obviously it included the Start button. And then it also had a taskbar. And it also contained shortcuts. So as an example, set up the Microsoft network. There's an example of a shortcut. So that's just basically more or less what the first release of Windows 95 looked like back in the day. So obviously, although the OS has come a long way since the 24th of August 1995, not much has really changed in the actual overall layout of Windows as an OS itself. Now, just a bit of a personal history with Windows 95, because I was actually asked this in the comments just the other day. Windows 95 was my first Windows operating system. Like I think a lot of our older viewers on the channel, maybe it was your first OS, Windows OS as well. I remember fiddling around on the ZX Spectrum when I was still in school, but Windows 95 was my very first Windows operating system. I did run, ran it on what you consider today to be an old potato PC, the old beige box. And that was my foundation moving into Windows. I tweaked and adjusted and fiddled and crashed the system and had to reinstall it. And that's how I actually got my foundation regarding learning about Windows back in the day. And my first system, believe it or not, running Windows 95, had 4 megabytes of RAM. Only 4 megabytes. And it only had a 200 megabyte hard drive. So the hard drive, the mechanical hard drive, was only 200 megabytes in size, which compared to today is nothing. And I was so happy when I finally compressed that hard drive and gave it a capacity by compressing it to obviously include 400 megabytes of data that the hard drive could support. So compressing that hard drive from 200 to 400 was a big thing for me back in the day. And basically that's the history of my personal dealings with Windows 95. Obviously back then in 1995, there was a lot of freezing up and crashing and so on. And it was my formative years using Windows 95. And Windows 95 was released to manufacturing on July the 14th, 1995. And as I mentioned, went on sale to the general public at midnight on August the 24th, 1995. So as I have said at the start of this video, believe it or not, it's been 28 years since Microsoft rolled out Windows 95, and I actually cannot believe how fast time has flown. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.